It's still doing this bullshit. So, my apologies. I have no choice but to do a stupid little vertical screen broadcast now. Just yet another way they suppress this crap, because some people filter this shit out of their search results depending on their interface. Anyways, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are, and welcome back to the Easy Reader Little Bitty Fish Room, where we're back to trying to figure out creative ways to flip real estate in order to fund the venture that YouTube has basically disabled me from being able to have for being the first person, FBI or otherwise, the first person to give any warning to anyone about the ongoing Russian psychological warfare campaign against this country. By the time they invaded Crimea, I thought, here, look, everybody. What I've been telling you all along. They're coming. Howdy, Susie. Consider this. I had been an exorcist, and I had seen something going on. I couldn't figure out what it was. I didn't think it was the American government. I didn't think it was this or that organization. When I woke up in 2011, not in the way any of the dumbasses since then have tried to adopt the way I woke up. Woke? Yeah, they're just trolling me with that shit. That was never a thing until after I woke up. When I woke up in 2011, I began to see the connection between my ancient enemy and whatever was causing all the fuckery. And I knew where they were. I just didn't know what country they called themselves. I couldn't quite tell what Russia was up to. And when I thought of whether or not Putin was the man of sin, I was like, no, that'd be too easy. Like, could it really just be just the Left Behind movies played out? Yeah. Disturbing thought to consider, because that would mean we were all left the fuck behind, aren't we? That would explain why nobody knows how to pray anymore. That would explain why nobody really has faith anymore. We tell ourselves we have faith out of want to not go to hell. That's about it. But when it comes to actually acting on faith and living our lives by faith, do we? Who does? Who does without wearing some special uniform that tells everyone? Oh, call me the brother, reverend, father, mother. This thing I'm wearing, it means that I understand the Bible better than you do. Alright, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, Susie. I'm going to try to respond to a text message, and you're going to tell me if I'm back when I'm back. Okay, did that work? Am I back? Are we, in fact, no. Okay. What? So anyways. My instincts, my experience, my observations, as this weird psychic exorcist person who could overpower the demons of witches, that all kind of made sense. And even all my crazy awakened fucking memories all made sense as well. Altogether, my entire life's purpose made sense. When I put together the pattern of propaganda that had been going on, that had been tearing this country apart, and suddenly they were talking about Nazis in Kiev. Had to resituate the dingo. So then what I realized was basically these Satanists, these people that acted just like demons, these fucking advanced philosophical geniuses of psychological manipulation, and these fucking just hordes of I don't know what, trolls and bots and all kinds of shit that back them up. I started realizing everything they've been doing this whole time. Not just now, not just in 2014. I had started to realize it was like something to do with Mongolia in 2013. And I'm like, is there some more eastern part of the Soviet Union that like just never died with the horde? And then the night of the Laughing Dragon came, and I wasn't certain that it was Putin, I don't think. I might have been. I don't really remember. I was like, if it's you, motherfucker, come on. Let's do this. I'm tired of what you're doing to my people. I'm tired of all the fucking games you're playing. Come on, roll your tanks on up. And he did, man. Right into the very lands I was trying so desperately to explore in my mind. Ancient Assyria, Jordan, Thrace, Magdalena. Suddenly it seemed like I was at war with the devil. Humanity wasn't aware that I was on their side, who or what they were fighting for. So now I sit on here and I ask people to send me money to invest in real estate? No. I ask people to come here and see the shit that I have in this area. And I offer my services. I don't like con artists. I don't like people who want you to fucking send money. You know, I tell y'all when I'm fucking having shitty ass times with bills and stuff, and I, ask for spare change. That's different. That's just me being pathetic and pissed off about how pathetic I am. And, there's nobody making a big fortune off of being a con artist who's living in a fucking moldy ass house with cracked, broken floors. And, well, I live stream far too much for me to possibly be living anywhere else. Y'all know this is my shit. It's all I got. And think about the position I'm in here. I've literally performed miracles on this channel. If I had some little bullshit gimmick that you could buy into and make a fortune because God wants to bless you, I could see why people might roll their eyes at me. First and foremost, I would like a business partner. Someone with money who wants me to do all the work. Oh. Want somebody with money who wants more money. Doesn't seem like that much to ask. I'm an incredibly talented person when it comes to selecting personnel, when it comes to training personnel, when it comes to motivating personnel, when it comes to making people feel like doing their best is fun. I've been making businesses more efficient since I was 17 years old. Every job I've had that I've stayed at for more than 3 months, I've worked my way up to a management level within that 3-month period. Otherwise, I didn't really approve of the way they were running their business, and I just observed what I could, and I didn't stick around. Excuse me. Now, it simply cannot be argued that if someone has a diverse enough portfolio of experience, that the more efficiently, the most efficiently they could possibly use a given plot of land is by helping manage or run all of the businesses that they're capable of running, if and only if they can find a team of people capable of helping them run those businesses. Now, I've found the team of people. I have the team of people capable of helping me run these businesses. I don't have the engineers for my weird patents and shit, but I have all the team for the startup part of it, the profitable, immediate liquefaction, 3-year ROI. Although, to get the ideal property, it's looking like 5-year ROI. I'll hack my way around that somehow. Suppose I would just simply have to factor in profits from the businesses instead of just my jerry-rigged liquefaction plan. Anyways. So, I've got 2 people I can consult who know how to open up a restaurant. My wife basically knows how to run a whole restaurant too. Got a wife that can make legal filings. I've got general contractor, I've got AC and electrical. I've got an entire real estate office. And I've got Lacey, who's gonna come down here and be the cleanup lady. And she's gonna make some dollar by the job and get free room and board out of it. Because I just designed a fucking bed and breakfast as a backup plan. Basically, any piece of land that I can buy, I'm gonna have a business plan for it. I'm gonna figure out how can I make the most money off of that property. Duplex, fourplex, bed and breakfast, hotel, car lot, convenience store. I know how to run all of those things. I know how to run a full-fledged grocery store. I know how to run an auto dealership. The whole auto dealership. I've been a parts manager and a service manager. Been a sales manager. That's the whole dealership. Did everything that the owner did. Did finance and everything. I printed up all the fucking documents. He didn't even have a customer intake form. Made a customer intake form with financial pre-qualification and everything. And then I made an actual finance form for the customer to fill out so we could actually use that to apply for loans. Instead of where he would sit there, take him back to his office, and he'd be typing up their shit while they told him. Yeah. And he had like an old form that was like so illegible that he didn't even use it anymore. So I typed up some new stuff. Typed up service and repair orders. Typed up parts orders. Typed up mechanic reports. And we didn't have like any kind of database, so I was just like making Microsoft Word documents. But yeah, I couldn't sell any cars in 2009 and 2010 because nobody could sell cars back then. And I was selling like the worst cars. I was selling used luxury cars during an economic collapse. If only I knew how stupid that was at the time. Anyway, so Joey appreciates me. He even said that if I was gonna flip some properties in Kenner, that he would invest with me and no problem. And I think that's one of the reasons why I was so upset yesterday when I found out the ones that I was trying to get him to look at weren't fucking there anymore. The ones out here. because I could hear in his voice. He has this, he has a different way he talks to customers, where he's like trying to love them, and then he has this, I'll show you how rich I am by how much I love you kind of tone that he gets. And he just had that for a second. If we're talking Canada, then I'd have you. I'd be in. Man, I could do his voice way too well. And you know, all of my abilities as far as being able to perceive the patterns of the fucking psychological warfare campaign, that goes into economics, advertising, news reporting, commodities, international politics. That takes so much different observation. If you don't think that is going to help someone be successful in big business, you need to comprehend how much better so many businesses could be doing right now if they had me advising them. How much money do you think Western countries could have saved if they knew that basically Russia was actively pursuing all of them 4 years ago? Five. Wow. The moment they invaded Ukraine, the moment they started invading Ukraine, I was absolutely certain, and I could explain demonstrably, provably, how anyone could tell if you were willing to go and observe all the data, that there was a consistent pattern, that the propaganda reaching back over a decade had been Russian propaganda all along. That these people were somehow connected to, reporting to the Kremlin. It wasn't just on a coincidental basis that, you know, a slight or big majority of them were puppeting Kremlin propaganda. No. It was all of them. Hmm. Well, anybody failing college, if they got some money put away and they're planning on spending it all on the college or whatever, you're going to be coming up a very serious opportunity in the real estate market. Namely, because it's about to fucking crash. Actually, it basically is. It's going through a slow crash right now. And if I just had just the slightest bit of buying power right now, I could just be hammering people away on their prices. Huh. But you got to find the right area, you know? You got to find a semi developed area and you got to cater to the opportunities that are there. You can't just decide what you want to do. You have to be very strategic about it to be successful. You know, if it's a college town, they got a lot of college rentals. Go and look for a college rental. See how available they are. See how many are con artist ads. See how many are real ads. See how many are shady looking. See what your competition is, basically. But really, there's no job that you're gonna get these days just because you got a fucking college degree. Unless you're in a fraternity or you go to some advanced technical school, there's no job that you're gonna get that's gonna pay basically better than inflation. You know, you're gonna get out of college, you're gonna make 30,000, 40,000 a year, or whatever that is equivalent to your fucking income, cost of living ratio out where you live. You know, people make more in places that cost more, basically, is how that goes. They bullshit you about the fucking range of stuff when they're trying to talk you into getting in debt in college. And you go to San Francisco or New York City where it's fucking $5,000 a month to rent a one bedroom. Yeah, people make $100,000 a year because they got a college degree. And they spend it all on fucking rent. You want to actually get ahead of the inflation curve? You need to find one of these many, 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 many shitty properties, fix it up, and collect yourself some damn rent. But you got to be careful. You got to make sure you have a plan on exactly what you're going to do before you even start looking for a property. You have to be able to adapt to what property you find. You have to make sure the property isn't too much fucking trouble. You have to be able to select what you can afford to do to fix the property without going over budget. And you got to bear in mind that just because you pay more for the property isn't gonna mean you rent it out for more. You're gonna rent it out for what people are paying to rent out apartments around there. Plain and simple. You're gonna rent it out for a little bit more than that. If they got 3 bedroom apartments going for $1,100, you're gonna be able to rent it out for $1,400. Just because you pay a whole shit ton of money for a house doesn't mean people are gonna rent it out for more money. Not unless you're in some sort of classy, convenient tourist type area. Most of the time, you want to pay basically as cheap as possible for the rental, for your first rental. You want to go as far as you can without getting shot, basically. Right now, I got my eye on a flooded one. And I got my eye on a couple of pieces of land. And whatever it is I wind up doing, I'm probably going to hopefully Lacey's not bullshitting. She's actually serious about coming out here and helping because, you know, team building is the fucking key to making this plan happen. unfortunately, I don't have enough money to buy anything for myself right now that's habitable. If I'm going to be able to get anything, it's going to be some shit that nobody wants. It's going to be a matter of me being able to do the paperwork with my wife's help. Basically, my only leg up on getting something like that. I mean, consider instead of buying your first house, buying a fourplex. You got a couple bedrooms and a couple bathrooms in each unit. You usually run them out for about 1,000 or more, depending on the area. Three out of 4 units rented out. That's $36,000 a year. You can probably find a fourplex that's in really shitty condition for about $100,000. Get a 30-year mortgage on it. You're paying $600 a month. Be able to pay it off early in 5 years if you want to. Do as much work to it as you possibly can by yourself. That's what I'm gonna do. I know how to do all that shit myself. I do not have a strong enough fucking back to go and do it for somebody else. At this point, at my age, nobody will even fucking hire me. Understand that? I can't lie to them. They're gonna have me doing some shit I can't do if I lie to them. So I'm just a walking liability. Well, can't sue myself. And if I did, I'd definitely lose. Wait. Yeah. Because I don't want to go up in court against me. Yeah. Wait, what? But y'all, you know, I've been fucking gutting houses, putting up frames, putting down tar paper, shingles, helping manufacture rafters. Realizing, oh, that's what meth is for. When I was 10 years old, fucking Brett was a badass, man. Of all the carpenters my mom dated, of all the live-in boyfriends, he was 28. He was like a couple years younger than her. And was a genuinely... Oh, yeah, that's right. He was a cokehead. Yeah, well, that explains it. Yeah, he was on coke. Yeah. Yeah, so you just picture that. Carpenter on coke. He worked like a carpenter on coke. Talking 80s, man. Like orange or faded red, pink, sleeveless shirts, mustache, tanned orange skin, brown mullet, blue eyes, spiky mullet, business in the front, party in the back. Played on the dart league and the pool league. Oh, my mom was on the pool league. Why didn't I inherit her pool stick? Oh, wait. I had been having that fucker. And it got stolen out of my car when I was living in it. Oh. I'm sorry, Mom. It was a nice pool stick, too. Very impressive being an underage guy in a bar with their own pool stick. No wonder I was dating older women for a while. About a year after high school, not even a year after high school, I wound up single again because I was stupid. Didn't, I'm not regretting the past or anything. I'm just acknowledging my failures. I didn't show nearly enough appreciation to a woman who had stuck by me after getting hit by a fucking car and like being unable to fucking do anything. Although I might have it backwards. I think we might have broken up right before that. No, yeah, that's it. I think. Oh wow. I've been working my brain too hard lately. I've been having trouble remembering the fucking past. I'm getting old. Holy crap. All right. Should I squeeze my brain and try to put this together? Hold on here. When the fuck did I break up with Jennifer? Oh, I get what's screwing me over. I later lived on the same street as the abortion clinic. Yeah. And I had broken up with her once, like in the middle of our relationship, and then get back together with her. I remember that. That was at the house or the apartment by the school. And then my mom rented a house out further down the way. And I moved back in with her temporarily. And that's when Jen and I broke up. Anyways, That would be the girl that I taught how to do eBay sales, and she fucking ran with it. And I taught her how to do basic HTML programming, gave her one of my books. She ordered more books, learned how to do more programming that I knew how to fucking do all of a sudden. Like the newer shopping cart type shit. Was in college for graphic design. I was like, you know, when she would get into pissy mode, basically, it would be about how she didn't feel like it was going anywhere. I'm like, well, combine this and ask them to teach you how to do web design. You know, focus your graphic on web design. She now owns a multi-million-dollar web design company. Again, do I get anything? No, no. Like, I saved the fucking world economy, they get nothing. Found her husband for her, by the way. Yeah, literally. Picked him out in a crowd for her. We were friends before we were together, and we stayed good friends afterwards. And she had dated this one guy that was total jackass. I mean, he was like, yeah, he was a total jackass. He wasn't that bad, you know, but he just wasn't anything serious, right? And she was ready for something serious. And talking on the phone, I'm just gonna try to make a long story short. Talking on the phone with her about this, and like about my matchmaking ability, and just like she basically asked me to use my psychic power to see who the hell it was she was supposed to marry. In retrospect, I don't know. She might have been hinting at like getting back together. I don't know. I don't know. But I told her there's this lecture class you have, and there's this guy off to the left in the crowd, like a lecture class, you know, like when there's like a kind of a circular group. There's a guy off to the left in the cloud, and you notice his eyes. He's got distinct eyes, and she instantly knew who the fuck I was talking about. And do they have 2 kids yet? They've been married for a while. I know they at least have 1 kid. Adorable. And then there's the Armenian princess I fucking dated. Well, didn't fuck her, just dated her. I wound up telling her you dated an Armenian princess? Oh. I wound up telling her that basically, and it's like too much information, but this is not the kind of shit you can make up, okay? Right as I was discovering the lubrication levels Yeah, like almost there. Um, definitely past starting to. You know, I had a vision that she would be married and pregnant within a year. About 9 months later, she brings me this guy she met. She was really pissed off at me for a while. Met this guy. I invited them to come to this little party that the mechanic who dropped my car in that place I was staying. I was supposed to be staying in a little taco trailer, but wound up staying in these people's little closed-in back porch until my car was done. Then I had to live in my car, but it was one little weekend party where they had a fire outside, and she brought him there. Like, that's him. And they got married almost immediately. I haven't talked to her for a while. Relatively brief friendship, considering the impact. Ah, no. I'm gonna lock you up in a tower so you can clean my rentals. Yeah, you'll have to grow your hair really long to escape or something. Maybe Susie will come bail you out if she gets a big enough rowboat. Now, you know what I think I forgot to do this Christmas? I forgot to sing the Popeye version of Deck the Halls. Deck the halls with balls of holly. So, yeah. Well, if you want to see some astonishing parallels to just, I don't know, my former life and how it connects to this one, watch the Robin Williams Popeye movie. Did anybody else just have a big heartbeat in their chest? I've been having some definite heart issues. That's why I wound up sleeping so much. Time to give it a rest. You could probably make some good money with that in a Japanese massage parlor. I mean, I'm just saying. I have a vibrating foot. We pay you $2,000. You stand on businessman back. He pay you extra. You stand on balls. Because I ears me spinach. Yeah, you can only ear your corn. What? Spinach is a metaphor. It's about doing what you don't want to do that makes you stronger. And there simply are no things that you want to do that make you stronger. Not true strength. So shying away from challenges is to acquiesce to weakness. Mr. Conway, speaking of true strength. Yeah. Even since we were kids, or at least ever since the curse came, certainly now. My wife has a serious problem with that. Accepting the strength that comes from difficulty And that whenever you don't have anything else to fall back on, at least there's that. And the purpose that it gives you, and the ability to fulfill it. Oh well. I've just come to the conclusion that all women eventually yell at you for stupid shit. Anyways. Simba, why are you limping so bad, baby? She's not even using that front paw anymore. Must be having arthritis in it. Been a long time since we lived where that balcony was. He fell off of it. Or that he jumped off of it. Like a moron. I think we need to get very specific into regulating workable housing for employees. Like if people could simultaneously get into real estate and be able to, add long-term value to their ability to retire and leverage assets and everything else, while saving money and occupying areas and improving safety, reducing traffic. All we gotta do is just regulate shit. Find a way to tax it that makes those businesses still workable. But you're not allowed to do that unless you're, doing some kind of weird reality show that's actually porn, basically. That's okay. Buying some land and putting some apartments in the back and not hiring migrant workers, hiring American citizens or citizens of whatever country you're from, and housing them properly and amenably and taking care of them and paying them what you'd normally pay fucking people, okay? Charging them rent, making money, reducing their bills, making them more reliable. Creating advantages for independent businesses so they can compete against companies like Walmart and Amazon. I should be able to open up a business and build apartments above it. At the very least, you should be able to offer a manager an apartment on site so that I can open up a business and live at that business. You know, the way a lot of old fucking businesses in this country started, where the old man would live above the shop, you know, and he'd stay up late at night before he'd come upstairs and go to sleep, counting all the fucking money in the register and whatever. You know. Dinner's getting cold, dear. I'm almost done, honey. We don't have a fucking economy anymore because we don't have those businesses anymore. What do I want to do? I want to get a home loan and open up a fucking reef store in front of my house. I'm willing to live on a shitty street for living, which is a good street for business. You know, because nobody wants to, like, well, nobody but crazy people like me want to live on a street where they have to immediately accelerate to 55 mile an hour. My Honda's got that shit covered. We got one that'll do it at about, I'd say 6.8 seconds. And one that'll do it at about 7.5. And that's the 65, because, you know, in the South, you always go 10 over whatever it says. Yeah, I got it with the Bob's Burgers. No, like, okay. Say you want to open up a fucking electronic repair business. I mean, think about this. Think about why we don't even have electronics that can be repaired anymore. And we got landfills with fucking televisions in them and shit. If you wanted to open up an electronic repair business, you couldn't just, like, do it from your house. You couldn't find a property where you can do it from there. You're gonna fight all these fucking zoning regulations and all kinds of shit. Planning and zoning, building commission, city council approval in some areas. The problem with the old TVs is they're just not energy efficient. And, you know, they want us all to use less power so they can charge us more for it. Another thing too. I mean, when you can run a business out of your house, when you can buy enough land, buy enough land on the main street as it leads out of town, okay, in a small but prosperous town, okay. There's a lot of those main streets as they lead out of town in small but prosperous towns, not just in America, all over the world. If you'd let people finance some big pieces of land outside of towns based on diversity of management level skills, find the fucking the masterful wisdom bearing jacks of all trades in America or whatever your country is, and take advantage of them. Let them help develop your fucking community. Just, I mean, it takes a little bit of ingenuity to set out the parameters for a plan, but not much. And then you accept the plans, and you got fucking people working to come up with plans to fill up these slots to help create jobs and economic activity. And, next thing you know, people aren't all working in the service industry. Like, I mean, what have I done my whole life? I've basically remodeled houses, spent a lot of time in a real estate office, kept saltwater aquariums, and then I lived in an Integra for a while. Well, I lived in two Integras for a while. I've had some hobby level experience that has gotten me pretty advanced as far as mechanical knowledge goes. I know how to restore cars, I know how to sell cars. I know how to breed one of the most profitable fish there are. The hardiest version of Nemo you can keep. The ones that you ask, why does that one cost $30 when the other one costs $20? They look kind of the same, but the $30 one is the true perculum, and it's a better fish. But the reason why it's $30 isn't just because it's a better fish. It's because the fry are 1/5 the size of the Accelerus. Always trying new things to get a handle on the fleas around here without killing my fish. Well, without killing the ecosystem. You're not going to kill fish, but the whole idea of reduced feedings, that doesn't work. unless you have a lot of copepods. And to have a lot of copepods, you got to have a lot of caulerpa and algae and yeah. You don't like it dirty. Your corals don't like it dirty, but your fish like it dirty. I really can't wait to get a freaking tang in there. I don't know, like some tangs. If a tang were to really get a taste for that caulerpa, yeah, yeah. Some species of sponges, some species of sponges can be overtaxed by poor water conditions. But there's some, especially cold water species, that are very. They should be looked at for disease curing properties because they have extremely high resistance to bacteria. Um, in cold marine water, bacteria is a real problem. So if you want to go and try to find the ability to resist bacteria, um, you go by a tissue type basis into the marine organisms that exist in cold water. You can probably find some interesting things. See those orcas? Somebody's fucking Russians. Russians are capturing and trading, fucking selling orcas and belugas and sperm whales, and they got them in this fucking little area where they're getting frozen in, and they're all having fucking bacterial necrosis on their skin. Hmm. Starfish. Associated Press felt the need to post a 2.5 minute video about Marines training in climate that mimics Russia and Korea. Hmm. I'm pretty sure that would make Kim Jong Un, isn't that his name? Pretty sure that would make him laugh. No offense to the Marines, but you ain't going there. You don't want to go there. Anyways. If you got yourself some sick-looking corals or a sick-looking anemone or some bacterial problems on the fish's fins and stuff, what you need to do is check how cold your house is getting at night. Because tropical animals require consistent temperatures. And you might think it's okay to have things cooler at night, but you got to make sure that fish tank is staying warm. Make sure there isn't, see, like some people might set up a vent thinking it'll keep it cool during the day when the lights try to heat it up. But then, people like it cool in their house at night, and then that's just going to get too cold. And a good, hearty, healthy anemone is actually a good indicator. If it shrivels up too much at night, it's too cold. There's a lot of simple things you can do, though. Sometimes even just hanging a little piece of cardboard around the front corners. Especially wherever the air is moving across it. That's all it takes. Salt water is a pretty good self-insulating substance. It just needs you just need to kill the transfer point with a non-conductive material. Glass is pretty semiconductive when it comes to heat. Anyways. Okay, let's talk about Trump for a second here. Because it's really starting to get kind of face-palmy with this shit. Like, I'm really starting to think that Trump himself must be fucking stupid. Not just like, most people. Here's the deal. You know how he should have been in Trump like 80 billion fucking times by now? I'm struggling to find ways people explain this in any other way but the way that I've been explaining this the whole time. That is that he's only allowed to pretend to be president to begin with, or allowed to act as president in many real ways, sure. But only being allowed to do so so that this investigation can be as thorough as possible. Can you imagine how limited, how little they would have to go on, how relatively not easy it would be to indict so many of these fucking people if they didn't let him steal it? How do you reconcile Andy McCabe's statements? Why do you think he's so thankful, so praisable of Rosenstein for appointing Mueller? Mueller in particular. Did Giuliani ever start bulging his eyes out every time he tried to make a point until it seemed like the Shilliverse was tracking me to drone and clone and pervert my messages? You know, it's about protecting Western civilization and all. Thing is, I don't look like a bat on the bus of a windshield when I do it. But still, it just kind of tickles me. Never really saw him do that. Until I felt like Team Trump had been pointed to me by the Russians as a information source. And you know, at this point, the extent of this investigation no longer has my approval, and I want it to come to an end. Because there is bigger shit to worry about. Mark my words, kids. And you're already past the point of needing me in the public influence sphere. As mind-blowing as that reality might be, imagine how mind-blowing it would have been if presented to you a couple years ago. Wouldn't it be better than the one we're in now? Nothing we've learned that I couldn't teach, dearies. Things have gone on long enough, and it's good that they have. And we've learned some lovely specifics that will help us defend specific aspects of our economy and our communications and our political process. But the permission that I gave the FBI to limit the viewing audience of this channel and my other social media efforts in the case of my analysis being too accurate that it spelled out the exact parameters of their ongoing operations. That's officially rescinded. I don't want to be on those terms anymore. I want the impeachment to happen now. I want my country back. I want to have the right to be economically successful. Again, I'm working 20 hours a day trying to figure out a way just to make my life fucking work here. And this has made it impossible. So I just wanted to cover that base right quick. Just to make sure, once and for all, Simba. You see, the thing is, I have calculated, and because I've calculated, I have decided that it is now the time that no more can be wasted. And we can't get anywhere until we get the fuckers out of the way. And any opportunity you need to arrest more people, I assure you, dearies, will arise. Whatever they haven't done to incriminate themselves now, they will do as a result of the indictments that you have ready. This investigation will not have been worth the targets if the enemy's target is acquired and destroyed. The country has been torn apart long enough. And it won't do a whole lot of good to have all these fuckers in jail if there isn't a government left to fund those jails. How simple. Hey there. Simbas. I just wanted to see how big my head was next to his. Oh, stupid orientation lock. Like, I don't even like talking about it. Just because I don't even want to sell the idea too much to anyone. And it's not just like I don't want to sound full of shit or delusional or narcissistic or whatever. Like, it's literally, I don't want to try too hard to let myself dwell on the glaring facts. That the best thing for the world right now would be me to run for president. Like, it's just such a stupid idea. But I'm basically the only person who has actually earned the right in this country. I'm the only person in this country who earned the right to be president. I'm the only person who understands the problem. I'm the only person who saw it coming. I saw it coming because I understand the problem. And if you think my idea is to go full tilt Jesus and wear robes and shit and be like, hey, look at me. No. No. I'm going to be myself, man. There's no other way I can be. How y'all doing? Anybody in here agree that there is no definition of normal other than what people tell themselves so they can be assholes? Alright, so I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sean Morris, and I got over being normal a long time ago. It's a crazy world we live in. And I'm just the right kind of crazy to be president. Reason I'm running is very simple. I have what seems, by my own and plenty of other people who have heard my life stories analysis, to be some sort of a fateful experience leading me to the point where I was the only one to understand, before our government even understood, that the Russians were engaged in a psychological warfare campaign against this country. And I understand because of this the reasons why we're all at each other's throats, the why we can't get along, the why Congress and our government can't get anything done, and why our businesses and middle class are failing. I understand these problems better than anyone, and I have a plan to fix every single one of them. Everything I don't know, I know exactly who I need to ask. And I know exactly how to get all these things done. And right now the Russians are probably writing this shit down to feed to their candidate. You know, I went from fixing cars, working in parts and service, to selling cars. And I would tell people, I'm not a car salesman, but I'm going to help you get the right car. Well, I went from basically single-handedly fighting this fucking counterintelligence war from my living room and emailing and messaging and calling federal agencies till I was blue in the face and numb in the fingers. Literally, till my thumbs cramped on my poor little keyboard phone. I was like the freaking internet Paul Revere over here. And I'm sorry nobody listened to me, but I tried. If you put me in charge, I know what we should have done, and I know what we need to do now. Now, the rest of these people, they're sleeping till noon and trying to figure out what the sun's rise looked like. And I was up before dawn, and they haven't even asked me. Meanwhile, they're looking at the sun, they're looking at the clouds, they're looking at the precipitation on the ground. Oh, I wonder what the sunrise looked like. Can we tell now what the sunrise looked like back then? No, you got to ask somebody. Well, I was sitting there waiting at the butt crack of dawn, son. Saying there's a big ball of fire coming towards us. Anybody gonna wake up? And the reason how I knew is because I was so observant that I myself became a threat to them. And one of the reasons why I'm sitting here now a poor bastard instead of a proper political candidate with all kinds of connections and funding, because I've been all successful in business and whatever, is because instead of trying to secure my retirement, I've been trying to secure my country. Now, don't vote for me if you don't want a stern talking to. Because there's a lot of things we've become addicted to in this country. And that we've gotten used to. And we need to learn to do better. I'm not saying do without. We need to learn to do better. Yeah, I'm sure Russia's doing everything they can to make sure that I don't run. But then so am I. Because it doesn't matter that I'm the only one who actually knows how. You know, to be a president right now. The only one. Doesn't matter how much confidence I can give every side of every argument that their core concerns are going to be met. doesn't matter the gift that I've demonstrated to explain the bridge between things or explain the dangers of things that people have been taught. None of that matters. It especially doesn't matter that I could teach people the history that would stop religious war itself, that has been covered up by those who use religious war to conquer. To weaken other nations and set them against each other. None of that matters. It's how I know all these things triggers a phobia that automatically equates me to a crazy person because of the tremendous age of my soul. I'm sorry. I have memories of hundreds of years, at least, that I've had since I was first gaining consciousness as a child. It is because of this ancient memory of mine that I have the wisdom to make these analyses and tell you these things that you fucking need to know to survive as a species. And yeah, so be prepared to be talked to as if I was your parent. Because guess what, dearies? Chances are, if you're reincarnated, you might be your own grandpa. So for anybody on this planet to not be one of my offspring, it's just not bloody likely. Except for those isolated tribes of original Maorians that murdered that fucking tourist when he came there and tried to like make peace with them. They live off the coast of India, or formerly Maurya. The original black people. Yep, no biological descendancy there. But as the rest of you lot, respect your elder. Yeah. Especially all you Sheilas and Bretts down there. This fucking cat. He's just like, and he's having a zen moment with that shit. Like, okay, did you get it just right, Simba? I need to get some animal that I can have fun trying to teach it how to talk. I'm going to name it Bastion. So I can go, Bastion, call my name. So anyways, what's going on, Rob? So, anyways, back to thinking out loud without specifics. Okay. Here's the deal. If I get some land, wouldn't that put me in a better position as far as getting a business investor to help construct some sort of profitable structure, as in like a rental property or something? Like here, I already got the land. Get it cleared little by little or whatever. Go out there and do whatever I can myself to it. And what I'm thinking is if I can get a fucking building permit or at least a survey permit, and have everything marked, I can start basically digging foundation holes my damn self. And I'm not stupid enough to go and dig a bunch of holes, because the rain will just come wash them fuckers in. But I figure if I go out there and set the footings, ain't nobody gonna see them from the street, you know? And I'll just make sure they're, nice and well set. I'm not going to leave rebar in them or anything. I'll probably just do like the base of them, just enough to keep the mud from going back in the holes, you know? And once I get that done, I'll just go out there and start throwing my cinder blocks where I want them. So I'm going to have a little bit of gravel and mesh right on the bottom footing on the cinder blocks. I have concrete up around that bottom cinder block, 4 inches over the mesh. And I'm going to try to leave that gravel at a gradient and pour the concrete right over it. Oh, I can't wait to get started. And once I get a building permit, then I'll probably drill myself some holes. Because, you know, this could be a while. I'm not going to have rebar sitting out there exposed. I'm going to go ahead and pour some. It's a little big because rebar needs to go in there. Just in the top of that cinder block. Just one big spike sitting vertical in between each of those footer cinder blocks. The rest of the rebar goes on top of that existing concrete. And then what I'll be building is basically a sloping concrete footer with a cinder block wall coming out of it. A stem wall. Now the reason for that gravel and mesh at the bottom there, in case you're not already aware, is drainage. You want your concrete to be able to dry out so that the rebar doesn't rust inside of it. Yes, sir. Basically, I'm going to have an exposed slope right below my stem wall. The reason why is one of the many things about my designs that are designed to reduce the amount of wind pressure that gets bared on wide sides. And of course, to make a wider footing for this muddy ass ground around here. But yeah, I have a completely different gutter system that we're going to be fabricating. And we're not only making the buildings stronger, but we're actually making them aerodynamic. Which means, you know, vapor and evaporation barriers, and then that's all a very complicated thing. And that's what's taken me 20 editions to work out the process of the different ways I can do it, whether I'm modifying an existing structure or building my own cheaply or building one modularly in the future factory. But let's just say building science doesn't evolve very often. And you can mark the times in history when I return by how much shit changes. And you'd be like, oh, one of these fuckers must have been him. Yep. In some ways, I'm like the herpes of demigods. I just keep coming back. Wait, what? I hate it when you get down to that last big pretty one and you kind of like almost want to apologize to it as you rip into it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry your precious little head. It's like, Pokemon, I choose you to save for last. And then when the time comes, it's like you almost don't wanna, but yeah, you wanna. It's like, oh yes, the time has come. Unfortunately, this means I mean to make a phone call. Yeah, me too. Shit straight up improved my GPA in high school. Anybody has a problem with that? Fuck off. Having all kinds of fucking problems. Sober. Dropped out of high school. Sober. Bagging groceries. Life going nowhere. Sober. Guess what I hadn't done since I was 13? That suddenly came around 4 years later while I had a migraine. And oh, yeah, Jennifer, that girl I was talking about earlier. We were at a sci-fi convention, and I was sober. Drinking, but yeah. And one little on a little clip with feathers on it. And my headache was fucking gone immediately. And I used to tell this story, and I had the increment right of like, and 2 months later, or 2 weeks later, or whatever, I registered for high school again. I had dropped out, and that got me so back, so healed. And you know, ooh, what powerful mixed emotions. Because, like, I fought tooth and nail to be able to graduate high school. And got, you know, limited job opportunities because I couldn't pass a piss test. But the only reason why I made the choice, the only reason why I was able to go back to high school, taking a bong hit every morning. I woke up at 4 o'clock. About 4:15, really. You know, I would kind of slowly break my alarm, just smash it to bits over time. I went through a lot of alarm clocks. I would physically break them. I would just get so pissed off that it was morning that I would crack the plastic on them, fucking just smashing the snooze button. Fuck you! I fucking heard you, you motherfucker! Yeah, because I really was getting high strung, lacking sleep and shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Why are your fingers bleeding? Oh, I got mad at my alarm clock. And then suddenly, I started resetting my alarm for 4:20 in the morning. You know, I was going to fucking work for 4:45, cleaning the fucking floors. Getting off of school, going back to work. Working till 8:30, 9 o'clock. Working Saturdays. Working Sundays. Yeah. 6 or 7 days a week. My off day of work would be Wednesday. Guess what? I had fucking school that day. But I started waking up at 4:20 in the morning. My alarm set for 4:20 in the morning. I would just pop right out of bed. Good morning. Da-da-da-da-da. No more broken alarm clocks. Exactly. I had to get pretty fucked up before I started smoking again, though. I got pretty fucked up. I was, you know, overzealous in some ways because of the whole exorcist thing, and just a hypocrite in others because, you know, dumbass. Can y'all hear the kitten purring? Yeah, yeah. 10-year-old cat. You think he's a little kitten, huh? You think he's a little kitten, huh? Oh, the baby. Look at this big fatty Fatterson. Simba. Look at all this fat. Look at all this fuzzy fluffy fluff. He does not go far from the house. Stays outside mostly, though. He's not allowed in here for the most part because he'll just eat all the food. He'll knock the cat food bag over, just spend the whole day just eating, sleeping right by it. Don't let him get some near some lasagna. Kidding. But yeah, a bit on the Garfield side. This is actually relatively trim for him. He's always kept his fur so nice and soft, too. He's always so clean, huh, Simba? Just a fucking baby. You're making me miss all the Chet, Simba. Akuma. Yeah, I like that. Oi. Yeah, so to explain the name Simba, like just like I'm not just that cheesy to just name a cat after a fucking Disney character for no reason. All right, just want to make that clear. There's an actual story behind this. Um, oh, I miss my Sheila. I could go on a wild goose chase in that area. So, like I said, this is a long story actually. Sheila is his mama. Okay. Like I said, he's 10 years old. Yay, story time. Now, I live in 70777, not by my own volition. Okay. But according to one of my prophecies, when we were looking for a place to live, we were actually looking to move between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, which is a good hour's drive from here. Okay. On the other side of a town that I am not even in. Okay. Anyways, we were looking, and I just kind of had this little trance moment because I was still like glowing and shit at the time. Said wherever we wind up trying to go, I'm gonna wind up here. So you might as well look up what zip code is that is and get familiar with the area. And then I commented, did my mom live up there? After she'd told me, and then she said, yeah, that's Zachary. That's just right over here. And then she was like, well, that's the number one school district. I'm like, well, I'm just saying, wherever we try to go, I don't know how, that's where we're going to fucking wind up. And, well, at least it makes sense because, 70777. And then I learned the name and it was like Slaughter. I'm like, oh, lead the sheep to slaughter. That's hilarious. So we tried to move to Prairieville. Now look at your map. Prairieville is not anywhere near here. Nowhere near here. All right. And we get this fucking U-Haul loaded up with all of our shit. The giantest fucking U-Haul they have. And we go to this place in Prairieville, and apparently my wife didn't clear the fact that we had cats with them, or I didn't even tell them about Dingo. And they were sitting there saying we had to get rid of the fucking cats, and had to pay an additional $800 for my dog. And then they didn't want to do anything because I was pissed. So we don't want to rent to you because you're pissed off about all this bullshit that you just had to hear. Oh yeah, if you heard all this bullshit, you'd be pissed too. Especially with all your shit loaded up in a fucking U-Haul. Which I'm not sure if by that point. Yeah, I think it had. Yeah, it had by that point already started misfiring, and was only able to go about 38 miles an hour. Oh yeah, yeah. And Sheila got out while we were there. I had Sheila, her 3 daughters, and 2 sons. I had given away 2 of the daughters, kept 1, and had one of the other sons, and, well, brought them all here. Let the other 2 loose in this really fucking nice neighborhood because that's what my mom told me I had to do in order to be able to stay at her fucking house for a couple of days. Yeah. Yeah. Simba, I parked his ass outside and he stayed there because he's Simba. I love him. Yeah, you. Who there? Cracks me up. Anyways, oh. Just as you said that. Just as you said he's so regal. What are you laughing at, motherfucker? Yeah, that's exactly how you spell it as far as I know. Um, other than like with a Y, I don't know. But anyways, so Mufasa was the one I was worried about. This other little cat that we had found, actually, we had two female cats. One was the sister, one was the one that we found. We had somebody come pick up the sister, and then this one that we had found was just this little dainty, sweet little fucking begging thing. No chance that she wouldn't find a place to stay. But Mufasa was kind of skittish. He was, however, a really good hunter. I mean, a really good fucking hunter. Okay. Now, so now that I've explained all those cats, when I birthed them under my couch, when Sheila gave birth, Mufasa came out first, and Simba came out second. And Mufasa was damn near twice his size. Yeah, like I said, Mufasa can fucking take care of himself. For he is named Mufasa. Mufasa, Mufasa, Mufasa! I love doing that. But yeah, it was two little orange boy kittens came out first. The rest of them were calico girls. One looked just like an Ewok. Um, one was named Rain, and Carol Ann. Or Marianne. Marianne, yeah. Because when she meowed, it sounded like she was going, Marianne! She would meow, and I just keep doing that back to her. I'm late. I'm late. I'm very, very important thing. But I'm just looking back. Marianne. Marianne. Have you seen my watch? Ewok was so fucking cute. I wanted to charge money for her. Rain had the best personality. Had like a gray face. No, it was Sorsha. That's what I named her. Sorsha. Sorsha. Rain was a different stray cat. Had too many fucking cats. Oh, I think when I first saw Willow and Sorsha took off the helmet, I discovered my hormones. That was just a little bit too much of a moment for me right there. Like, she makes me feel kind of funny. Like when we used to climb the rope in gym class. So, anyways, Dude, man, I'm telling you that just like the armor and the sword and fucking the red hair and the pale skin. Oh, yeah, I was fucked over. Every time I would find a bitch with dark red hair and the Easy Riders magazine, never mind. Oh, look, a reference to a previous story. Anyways, come here, Simba. I got you, buddy. He got an itch inside his ear. This is how you do this. Mmm, yummy. Is that better? Good boy, huh? So, anyways, I was gonna say something useful instead of another stupid joke. Can you scoot over on your thing? Because, like, you're taking up my elbow space, Simba. I don't want to be elbowing your butthole. No, that's not the useful thing that I was trying to discuss. Um. Oh yeah, engineering a stem wall foundation in the south on the uneven ground. There's actually a lot more to it than just mushrooming out the bottom of the walls of the what did I fucking just call it? You know, word stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to move on to the next fucking thought. Anyways, the the way you lay it is of course important. The way you put everything down and making sure that the rebar doesn't rust by adding sufficient drainage and dehumidification underneath, and that's very, very important. Okay. But what's completely lost on the way we've been building houses for the past, oh, ever, okay? What people have just failed to learn in the past 500 years that they've been building houses the exact same way, basically. I mean, just a little bit of changes in materials here and there, but still basically the fucking, the same way they were building cars like they were building carriages, body on frame construction. That's basically the same technique we've been using to build houses, body on frame construction. Right. See, the thing is, unibody works a hell of a lot better performance-wise. But when it comes to a house, you're not talking about something that you can actually unibody. So in the automotive business, there is a third alternative. It's called tube frame construction. So if you think of the whole frame of the house as a system, kind of like the internet's, it's like a series of tubes. Then what you need to do is picture your foundation, or in my case, pylons, as the wheels or tracks of the suspension. Sure. Anyways. So essentially, don't just build a frame strong enough to support a house, or I mean, excuse me, a foundation strong enough to support a house. Build a house strong enough to support that foundation. Now, when it comes to the way we're commonly laying out houses and stem wall foundations, good luck. Because you've got some really awkward shit gonna happen there. Or you just need a complete redesign. I mean, the only ones where, a rectangle, a commonly distributed rectangle. The way that would normally be framed up on the floor and everything. To make that evenly brace a foundation laterally from above, you'd have to put some really big, sort of like a suspension bridge type architecture on the long exterior walls. Okay. But if you frame up the floor, the walls, and the roof to work as one system from the get-go, so what I was saying was, to make that happen to begin with, you have to connect the frame and the roof, or basically the perimeter of the walls, as if they were the frame of a race car, with the roof. The frame within the roof, as if it were the roof of a race car or a car. And to do this with a rectangular structure, you wind up needing excessive materials along the lateral walls, the elongate walls. Or you wind up with basically big bulging braces in the middle, so you can get that suspension bridge type effect. And then that still wouldn't work, because you'd have to really get advanced with how you preloaded everything. You would basically have to preload that. I could do it, but it's just best done from underneath when you start from the square and squish it in. So I'm basically trying to say like how wrong the approach is in designing buildings without giving away my specifics. But what I mean is like the way they design houses these days. Is they draw a fucking rectangle and then they like add some other rectangles and then they just kind of fuck off. Basically, that's all they do. And I can tell when I'm walking around these houses just how much thought they put into that shit. Hell, half of them you can just see from Google Maps. Oh, look, it's another fucking L-shaped rectangle. Another L-shaped rectangle. Another L-shaped rectangle. Another L-shaped rectangle. Rectangle, 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 L-shaped rectangle. L-shaped rectangle with some French windows. L-shaped window, a rectangle building with some bay windows. Oh, an L-shaped rectangle with some French doors and some bay windows. See where I'm going with this? It's all the same fucking thing. And if you're gonna keep making the same fucking thing, it might as well be made like Honda would make it. So Honda was basically Bushido meets Henry Ford. You know? And I don't mean like stabbing yourself with a small sword. I mean the actual work ethic of Bushido. Something I tried to explain to my supervisors when I was bagging groceries at 17 years old. Wasn't not a typical 17-year-old, that's for sure. I actually had friends in their 70s when I was that age. Later up. How's he walk? What's going on? He wants to see a big ass possum. Oh shit, where'd he go? What's up, dude? Hold on, I'm gonna get us some food. There gotta be something over here you can clean up for us. It's not much. Fuck. What's up, little guy? Oh, come on, don't run off. Pussy Wassum, come on, dude. Here you go, dude. Come on. See if he comes back. Did y'all see him? I don't know, I caught him on camera right here. I had the camera right here. He didn't actually run from me last time. I think he feels more comfortable when Simba's out there. Yeah, I'll clean up my fucking porch when the landlord fixes my damn steps. Anyways. Hey there. Big old fat belly. He's just been chomping down the kernels, man. Is the cat food bowl empty yet, Simba? So anyways. Now, the benefit of building structures in this way is, it's immeasurable, actually. If, you know, my investors are going to be the one who really find out all the different wisdom I have to bear on this subject. Because I could say the slightest thing and give somebody a whole bunch of very profitable ideas right now. But another thing, a completely different aspect, is that this enables you to flood-proof said building. Because here's the deal. Making one of these dumbass new age looking buildings. Making these buildings that require steel supports. Making buildings that are in any way heavy or fragile, or both, makes them brittle under pressure. If you want to make a building that floats, you need to make it sturdy as a boat. You need to arrange compartments and modular sections in a way that support each other. Look how fucking cute he is. Oh. Precious. So precious. I hardly ever let him inside. Not for this long, especially. I never get to just hang out with you, Simba. Because every time I let you sleep in here, if I fall asleep, you pee on something. But lately, so many things have been... Oh, look, it worked. Seemed to be hung up there for a second. Is it 0 people now? Now we have 1 person. So yeah, Simba doesn't like litter boxes. Holy shit, I didn't realize that to be. Because they don't meet his standards of cleanliness. This is an outside cat. Look at this. Look at this cat. This is an outside cat. Look at his feet. Look at his feet. Look at his belly. It's an outside cat. I don't... He's like whiter than most of my white shit because it's smoke stained. Like he's got less dirt stain than I got smoke stain. These claws, man. Show me claws, Simba. Big old motherfuckers. Don't bite me. I was showing off your pretty claws. Keep showing the claws. There you go. Good boy. Night, lazy. I think I'm about to call it a broadcast my damn self. I forgot what the fucking subject was. Been talking about cats for how long? Shit. Let's see how hard it is to find my own live stream. There we go. Yep. First to warn about Russian attack on 16 election. Sure was. And now I have basically no motivation to continue to be of service other than to just kind of watch as shit spirals out of control and try my best to prepare in a way that can make some sort of a difference. If this channel got the viewership it deserved or was allowed to at least make money, I would be able to provide more of a service-oriented video series and be using this channel for that and my other channel for hangout sessions and whatnot. But you know, YouTube would rather work for Russia than make real money. It's just funny how working for Russia helps you make so much money. Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. Y'all take it easy, don't take it all. Peace. Maybe next time I'll be able to, do that. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this thing. It's annoying.